Bethesda just dropped a very impressive 45-minute Starfield gameplay showcase revealing new mechanics and some pretty exciting details. So right now, I'm going to break down all the important info so you can decide if it's worth your time and attention. And let's start with some general overview info about Starfield, as some of it has changed since the first showcase last year. It will be releasing on Wednesday, September the 6th, and is a single-player, open-world action RPG game that will be exclusive to Xbox Series X and S and PC, which means if you don't have a next generation Xbox or Master Race PC, you will not be able to play this game. That said, if you are a Xbox Game Pass subscriber, then good news for you, because you will be able to play it day one without needing to pay the full retail price of the game, which may be a wise decision if you're apprehensive about the potential bugs and stability on launch. Steam have also released their system requirements for the game, which I will pop up on your screen right now if you're interested, with Tom Howard, the game director, recently stating in an interview with IGN that the game will run at 4K on the Xbox Series X and 1440p on the Xbox Series S, capped at 30 FPS on both consoles to ensure game consistency, as Todd says, which is a little disappointing, but kind of what I expected with a game this size, to be honest with you. And you will also be able to play Starfield in first or third person, depending upon your preference, so you're not limited in that kind of field of view when it comes to gameplay. Now let's go through all the benefits of each game edition so you know what the deal is. First of all, there is 3 editions and 3 different price points which vary between Xbox and PC. The standard edition on Xbox, which is just the base game by the way, retails at £69, €69 and $69, with the PC version being $10 cheaper depending upon your region. Now, the digital premium edition comes with a few in-game benefits, the main being that you can play the game 5 days early if you do pre-order with this edition. So that will be the 1st of September for you instead of the 6th for everyone else. Now, you also pick up a Constellation skin pack for your character, a digital art book, original soundtrack, and access to the first expansion mission called Shattered Space when it does release. Now, this is going to set you back 99 quid in the UK, €99 and $99 on the Xbox, with a slight price reduction again on PC depending upon where you live. Now, if you were to pre-order the standard or digital premium edition ahead of a release, so what we've just spoken about, you will receive the Old Mars skin pack, which includes a laser cutter, deep mining helmet, and boost pack to wear in game. Now, good to note about this Mars pack is if you're a Game Pass member, you will get access to this content as long as your subscription is active. So that $10 subscription to try the game on launch in the first month and then get all the pre-order bonuses is looking like a pretty good deal to me if you're on the fence about it. Now, speaking of deals, you're going to have to decide if this one is a good one for you, because this collector's edition will set you back £249 here in the UK, €299 and $299, which will include everything that we've just discussed in the previous 2 editions, but it will also come with a steelbook display case for your game, Constellation patch, and quite impressively, a Starfield Chronomark smartwatch, which is the same watch you use in the game that compared to your mobile or cell phone for notifications, but it is limited in the kind of features you would expect from a modern smartwatch, because it does not transmit phone calls or supports any cellular service. It's also not touchscreen, but it does tell the time, so that's a big win for the $300 right there. That said, it does come in this collector's case with its design inspired by the containers that the Apollo astronauts used in spaceflight, with a very cool looking mechanism to keep your watch safe and sound if you do decide to pull the trigger on this. As well as, I nearly forgot, as well as getting this credit stick with a laser etched game code on it, which is how you'll download the game onto your system, which I actually think is very cool, to be fair. It's a lot better than just a piece of paper. But I'll tell you what else is quite cool, in my opinion, and that's the general premise of the story of Starfield, as this game takes place in the year 2330, where humanity has ventured out beyond our solar system, settling on new planets and living as a spacefaring civilization. Now, we are invited to become a member of an organization called Constellation, which is the very last enterprise of space explorers who are trying to uncover the mysteries of the wider universe. But the problem is, 20 years before this game game takes place, there was a colony war between two major factions, the first being the United Colonies and the second being the Freestar Collective. Now, the reason for their conflict currently remains unknown, but there is a uneasy peace between them both, and this is where we come in essentially in Starfield, navigating the relationships of both factions. And it's clear to me that our main quest here is to understand what these ancient artifacts are with the Constellation team on the city of New Atlantis, as in the recent trailer we hear this spoken.
God, look at how it's coming together.
That means there's a set.
Built by an intelligence outside the settled systems.
So I wouldn't be surprised if we need to find each artifact around the galaxy and then reconstruct this sphere that we've been teased with in a trailer last year that then subsequently teleports us through this gateway to another civilization in the galaxy, but we're just going to have to wait and see there. Now, if you are enjoying the video so far, please do leave a very swift like down below. So thanks very much for your support. And good news, I am running a Starfield game giveaway. You just need to be a subscriber of the channel to enter, and I'll pop the link in the pinned comments for you. So very best of luck to you. Now, one of the most exciting things about this preview for me is spaceflight and the customization of your spaceship, because you can pretty much build any type of ship you want by specifically customizing every area of its manufacture, from landing gear all the way up to the reactor. Now, you'll be able to access this shipbuilding menu by chatting to a spaceport technician, where we'll be able to purchase, modify, and sell spaceships, with the game encouraging us to obtain several varieties or different types of ship and then build out our own fleet for specific gameplay purposes. And I'll give you an example, because we can own a cargo freighter for trade missions or a speedy fighter to use effectively in bounty hunting. Now, we have seen these awesome cutscenes and animations when exiting and entering planets, but we haven't seen gameplay of us just entering the atmosphere ourselves, like in No Man's Sky, for example. And that says to me that if we do want to visit any of the 1,000+ planets in this game, it'll likely be a fast travel option to a specific spaceport, followed by a loading screen, similar to Jedi Survivor if you played that game, but I would absolutely love to be wrong there. Now, a cool mechanic here is if we come across any passing ship, we can decide to trade with them, swap galactic info, or maybe go Jack Sparrow mode, board them, and commit an act of piracy, which sounds terrific and ticks a lot of exploration boxes for me there. Now, speaking of fast travel, we'll be able to fast travel back to our ship directly when exploring, as this game is absolutely massive, with Todd Howard, the game director, stating that obviously this game is big, but this menu is where you can view it all on the map, plotting courses to systems that are light years away. Now, to do this, we'll be able to use our ship's gravity drive to fold space to jump to those systems. But the caveat here being is that if we really want to explore the outer rim, we'll need to upgrade our ship and skills to be able to reach those elusive planets and systems on the fringes of the solar system. We'll also be able to scan planets we're interested in before choosing where to land on them, which gives us a sneak peek on resources or potential points of interest, where upon landing, we will then be able to create our own outposts that we can customize to our liking, and then hire a crew to maintain the outpost for specific resource accumulation, building our own profitable enterprise and ecosystem that we can then benefit from. Now, the team also studied space data from NASA to make the solar system feel believable, which means details such as the distance between certain planets and the sun is accurate in game, as well as the planetary atmospheres being as accurate as they could get them to the best of current science info. So when we land, it'll be grounded in realism, which is insane when you really think about it. Now, let's move on to companions and crew who will be playing a significant role in Starfield, specifically the team of Constellation explorers who were briefly introduced in the 45-minute preview that will contribute to the story and remain on our ship comparatively to other NPCs that we can recruit outside of the story in game. Now, the difference between hiring and working with companions in Starfield comparatively to Fallout or the Elder Scrolls is that these characters become more influential in the story and will express their own feelings about you depending upon the dialogue choices and decisions that you make in game, including romance options and relationships. So a bigger upgrade in terms of their capabilities here in this Bethesda title. Incidentally, Vasco, our expeditionary robot, supports us throughout the game, and according to Todd Howard, can even say your name, which is very impressive if it indeed works. I'm looking forward to quite a few memes there, but we'll have to see. Now, Todd also went on to confirm recently that there's over 250,000 lines of dialogue in this game between NPCs and companions, with Skyrim only having 60,000. And I say only 60,000, that's a lot of dialogue, but this is 4 times more in Starfield essentially. So there's going to be a lot of chatting to be had. Now, there is a benefit of actually chatting and interacting with NPCs and recruiting them to our crew. And a good example of that is Hella, who has crash landed here on a random planet and is marooned and can't get off it. But if we look at his stats when he does ask to join our crew, he clearly is a capable outpost engineer according to his skills. So having him employed in one of our planet outposts will increase resource gain so we can craft, build and sell items on the galactic trade market more frequently. So certainly worth considering hiring him and getting him on board. Now, something I will be spending my first 10 hours on before even starting the game is character creation, because there's an immense amount of options to choose from here. In fact, the team actually scanned a wide range of faces of different age groups and ethnicities to be able to import a wide variety of different customizable options into the game, so you can get yourself looking how you want. And because of that, we can customize the body type, skin tone, head shape, facial hair, and even the structure of the face. Now, after you're happy with what you look like, we can move on to the background option of character customization, which gives your character a little bit of a backstory by picking 3 unique skills which have a rippling effect in the game. A good example of this in action, as noted by Rick Vicens, the lead animator, is the Beast Hunter perk, where you come across a dude in a fancy restaurant who needs you to track down a monster, which then ends up being a bit of an easier task for you because you've picked up that backstory skill when starting the game, so you receive better loot for completing the quest as well as other rewards. Now, you can also pick 3 traits which are completely optional and come with their own advantages and disadvantages. Another example of this being the hero worship trait, which earns you attention from our very own Oblivion adoring fan who will flood you with gifts, but also spam your game audio with waffling. So if he does get too annoying, you can always get rid of him, as you can see here. Now, as for the data menu or pause UI screen, we do get our very first look at it here, with Todd stating that this is the hub for everything you are going to do in game, from skills to ship management, missions and infantry. And as you can see here, you can actually move your joystick to highlight each individual menu section, which will then open up another panel where you can customize and delve a little further, such as weapons here, which can all be reconstructed and rebuilt with various mods to a specific weapon style or gameplay style that you like, as well as the spacesuits here, which all fit different purposes, with the mercenary spacesuit doing a little bit more damage comparatively to the navigator spacesuit. So if you're off gallivanting for a space cowboy showdown, this is where you're going to change your gear to get yourself better prepared for what you plan to do in game. Additionally, we do pick up a photo mode feature in Starfield from launch, which is great news, as well as being able to get details about the planet you're currently on by utilizing your chrono watch, which you're given early on in the game, that does act as a compass for full immersion if you want it when it does come to in-game navigation. Now, as for combat, we'll be able to engage against enemies in person using our fists, melee weapons and firearms, as well as partaking in some space dogfights against pirates or traders we want to pillage. In fact, a new mechanic we saw showcased was the redistribution of your ship's power cores into specific operational cores, such as lasers, missiles, or engines, which you can activate on your controller D-pad. So, for example, moving power cores to our weapons and shields means we're going to be more effective in a dogfight. We can also unlock some cool offensive skills in our skill tree, which will allow us to super zoom in and target lock specific subsystems on enemy ships for more impactful damage, and after the ship is destroyed, we can loot all the resources straight from the cockpit. Now, as for boarding, that's possible in this game, where we can then take control of a ship we like the look of add it to our fleet, or then sell it for a profit, which I cannot wait to do 1,000 times over. Now, as for in-person combat though, weapons will operate differently on various planets due to their atmosphere, so firing ballistic weapons in 0G will push us backwards, which won't be as effective as perhaps as using energy weapons, which will then operate and perform better in that 0G environment. Or as we said earlier, you can just jetpack around, karate chopping everyone you see, so there's lots of options at our disposal here. Now, if you are new here, please do consider subscribing, as I'll be covering Starfield from start to finish, including guides, tips and tricks, news and updates, and I honestly cannot wait for this game, and it would be great to have you along for the ride. Also, check out this new Starfield video on your screen right now, and hopefully I'll see you there in a second. And big thanks to Nika, my co-content creator, for helping me make this video with me. It's not possible without her, so cheers for stopping by, and coffee is on me.